Dream League Season 13 has been a great major, and there's been a lot of really cool drafts. In fact, I think the meta of this tournament has been quite fascinating. We've seen some absolutely insane picks, things like Disruptor Mid, that, I don't know, I haven't seen before. And therefore, this has been a great major, at least for me to watch. Hopefully you guys feel the same. If you did, and you've been enjoying Dota as of late, at least watching it, like the video, you know, because it's been, I don't know, it's been pretty good. But in today's video, we're going to be looking at 5 of my favorite drafts of the major. There's been a lot of good ones, so it's been hard for me to pick, but I got a couple that I think are very clean or very creative and have allowed their teams to get to victory. Now quickly, if you are interested in learning more from pros, just watching pro matches, I'm doing that over on the gameleap website. I just did a game where Gork played Snapfire, and I'm going to be doing more carry ones in the future. I've done a Winter Wyvern and a Snapfire at this point. I'm planning on doing one probably for AM, maybe one for Weaver. I just think these heroes are a little bit underutilized right now, and therefore if you're interested in that, go check out the website, sign up, and hopefully I'll see you there. Also, if you do, let me know in the Discord, and I'll be happy to chat to you about it. So the first draft I want to talk about is the EG versus Enigma series. A pretty good one, right? And I really enjoyed it, but Enigma absolutely destroyed EG in one of their games. And this was the game where Enigma went for the Lich Grimstroke draft. Now, there's a lot more to talk about with their Grimstroke combo, right? That wasn't the only combo they have, but I want to start there. Guys, in your pubs, or if you have a team right now, and you're especially like, I would say from the 2k to 5k range, I think this is one of the most broken combos in the game right now. It really, really is that strong, in my opinion. I think Lich is one of the best laners in Dota. I think Grimstroke can be as long as you have the right combo. In this game, they have the Doom, which synergizes extremely well with Grimstroke in every single aspect of the game, landing stage, and obviously mid to late game combo. But just simply, the Grimstroke ulti into the Lich Chain Frost is so much damage that if you land it in the early game fights, you basically can't lose because they can't even run away from it because they're linked, right? It's so strong in that regard. And really, I like the way that Enigma also rounds off this draft, and they've been picking PL so much. They picked so much PL throughout this entire tournament, and it really just makes a lot of sense to me here. You might be like, well, Speed, the enemy team has an Underlord and a CM and an Earthshaker and a Storm. How is it a good PL game? Guys, first things first, please stop commenting in videos and random forums that Earthshaker is like the only counter to PL. Like, it's like this insane counter that ruins the hero, makes it No, it's not! No, it's not! It's not! It's not! Okay? Reason being that PL, if does not get shut down in the early game, will snowball and have a lot of impact and create chaos in the team fight. And when PL gets his items, he will not get one shot by an Earthshaker. In fact, it won't even do half of his health, right? Earthshaker's not that good at pressuring early game because his kit does not enable him to do that. And PL thrives in those scenarios, so Earthshaker does not innately counter PL. Is it good? Sure, its kit is fine, okay? I just want to put that out there because, good lord, it makes me angry when I see that. It's like, well, Speed, if Shaker's banned, what do I pick to counter PL? Alright, but getting back on the note, the reason why I like PL this game is, let's look at the rest of the Enigma draft. They have 4 heroes that run around and create space, that just make chaos, make plays happen, right? It's not necessarily a bunch of gankers, it's no Axe Skywrath Mage, but what we do see is a bunch of heroes that are very difficult to kill. We have the Necrophos and the Doom, and when you have these 2 heroes, as well as really good defensive supports, right? Grimstroke and Lich are extremely good at counter-initiating. It is going to be very hard for EG to make any plays, even though they have a Slark and a Storm, right? You would expect them to be able to get around the map and make things happen. That wasn't the case because it is so difficult to kill Doom and Necrophos, and that's why I love it so much. Doom and Necro can sit in lanes, they can just push out mid, push out the off lane, and PL can just rip through the jungle for as long as he wants, and then show up to fights when most of the spells have been committed, which you need to understand. PL loves early game fights when spells have been committed, because then he just runs in and kills everyone. And yeah, that's why this game ended in 26 minutes and 34 seconds in a 6-26 Enigma victory. My first draft, favorite draft of the tournament. The next one, I just want to put this because this is what I like to call a clean, strong meta draft. Right here we have Drow Ranger, and VG Gaming basically picks this hero any chance they get. Apparently it's counterable, according to Secret, as Secret kinda, that kinda worked them. Secret worked them in their recent series, props to Secret. They did ban it the second game, but the first game they clearly showed that there's a counter. However, I do think Drow is one of the strongest heroes in Dota right now, as long as you draft around it. Actually, that's not even necessarily true. This hero's just, you don't have to, like, you want frontliners, for sure. Basically, every time you have Drow, some sort of initiation that can soak the damage. But you definitely don't need other ranged heroes, to be clear. I actually think in one of the recent VODs I did with Ori, they didn't have any ranged heroes with the Drow. Regardless, getting into this draft, I like it overall, because I think how a lot of people would see this is a free PL game. right? They're like, oh, the enemy team doesn't have a clear counter to PL. Underlord is pretty good because you can buy a lot of tanky AoE items. The Pit of Malice is very convenient. The Q is pretty good. The landing stage is solid against PL, actually one of the better ones. And so yeah, I think this draft just enables them to win early game fights. I think Invictus Gaming draft, it's solid, and I can see it having potential answers for Vici Gaming, but what I see is a potential Viper stomp, right? A game where Viper can create an insane amount of space. Reason being is he has some of the best follow-up, right? Protection for him. If they don't have these heroes like Rubik, Underlord, and Treant to protect the Viper, even Drow to buff the Viper, an X with Doom combo or a swap into a Doom combo could get the job done, right? But because they have these heroes to enable the Viper to frontline and just deal out damage without being too afraid of getting gone on, which typically can be Viper's weakness, if he gets enough spells casted on him, he doesn't have the mobility to deal with it, right? But with these heroes, I think it makes so much sense. The Drow in the backline combined with the Treant and the Underlord of frontline creates a complete wall. Also, if you guys don't know anything about Rubik, he loves sitting behind a hero. In addition, he can steal a lot of great spells this game. He can steal Doom, he can steal Torrent, Boat, and most importantly, most of the Grimstroke spells, right? Stroke of Fate is fantastic in particular because it's just giving you a second nuke. And whenever you have 2 nukes on Rubik, combine that with a Viper in the front line and Underlord to tank as well, you create basically a wall. I think any hero plus Rubik, right? Any frontline hero plus Rubik creates a wall in team fights just as a nature of what the heroes do. And then, yeah, round it out with a Drow and a Viper, and you have a very solid team comp that can deal with PL just because of the natural raw amount of damage they're going to do and how fast these heroes actually farm. Alright, I had to put this in the video. Like, it's literally not okay if I don't put this in the video. Chris Luck played Disruptor mid. How could I not like this draft? The reason being they last picked a Nyx Assassin, which is genuinely hilarious to me. Because who last picks Nyx Assassin? Maybe there's some stat on that. Maybe it's actually more common than I think. I feel like it's not though. But I like this draft overall. Reason being, it's creative. And if there's anything I like about Dota, it's creative drafting. But in particular, it's a really nice Nyx Assassin game. You have the Spike Carapace for Io, Pugna, and Batrider. 3 heroes that, Spike Carapace absolutely destroys. And it enables you to get on top of those heroes that can typically be quite mobile and difficult to burst, right? Naturally, Batrider can be hard to catch, same thing with Io, and same thing with Pugna if you do not have the correct heroes. And once to pick up this Nyx Assassin, that does not become much of an issue, and allows them to have really synergistic teamfight with the Chrono and the Winter's Curse, right? Nyx and Pale can be hard to land in teamfights, at least properly, but when you have things like Kinetic Field, Duel, Winter's Curse, Chronosphere, that does not become much of a problem, especially the Winter's Curse in particular. I think that is a really nice combo to have. In fact, ever since they made it where Wyvern could deal damage to whoever he curses, I'm very convinced that Wyvern plus Nyx could basically kill anyone on the map as long as they execute it properly, and that's just pretty nuts, right? Like, whenever you have the potential to have 2 supports killing even full HP cores, no joke, if they execute it correctly and let's say Miracle wasn't paying attention or gets caught off guard, I wouldn't be surprised if they could kill him. That's how much damage Wyvern does, and Nyx can really top it off. And finally, overall, I've been liking Legion in the correct games. I think this is such a great Legion game. In fact, Lelis absolutely popped off. I think this was one of his best games of the tournament. I think he played so well. He was level 8 and 3/4 when the Lifestealer was just 7, which just goes to show how well he was laning, how well he was amping his farm. And then if we just look at the draft, it purges the Crep, which is a direct counter to Pugna, right? If you can purge the Crep, you counter Pugna. It's that simple, right? Obviously not off enemies, but off allies. It's such a big deal, completely negates Pugna's ability to burst a lot of people. On top of that, it purges Batrider Lasso, it purges Open Wounds, which is a bigger deal than people think, and it provides that key lockdown onto a hero like Lifestealer through the Rage, even onto a tanky hero like the Night Stalker. And therefore, yeah, I just think this draft makes a lot of sense. Even though they don't have a particularly great combo with Chronosphere, they do have, I guess, Disruptor ulti. It didn't really come into play too much this game. But overall, I think it's just a very creative draft that I want to put in here, just because it opens the mind of Dota. And who doesn't like the creativity of Dota, right? It's really why I think this game is so great. I learn things about the game every single day, and I'm not kidding. Next up, we have a very great draft by Team Secret, and I want to end off this video with some of the more recent games, just to talk about why I think they went well, or I guess not well for the enemy team. But here we had the Team Secret versus Vici series, where Team Secret went for the all-out team fighting draft. They had Lich, Winter Wyvern, Magnus, Pango, and a Faceless Void, which you don't really get much more team fight than that. But let's start to go down the line and why I think their draft makes a lot of sense. First off, I just want to say that I think Wyvern is very, very good against IO. It's been a traditional counter to IO Gyro for quite a long time. Reason being is they have to be like close together, and so you can curse the IO next to the Gyro. And yeah, it's kind of that simple. Not too much to say there. It also lets you set up on the IO, which is great against IO. Next up, I'm a big fan of just having Magnus in any draft with any sort of just follow-up damage, right? They have a lot of setup for the Magnus and just ability to deal out damage. I look at Team Secret's draft, and they just have a lot of damage, which can fall flat sometimes, because if you can't save anyone, you get one of your damage heroes picked off, and it's GG. But the thing is, they have, in my opinion, two of the most meta broken supports right now, because Lich and Wyvern both are probably the highest DPS supports in Dota right now. And on top of that, they both have saves too, which is like kind of whack. But also, it's so difficult for Storm to kill a team comp like this. Reason being is that Zai, as long as he itemizes tanky, the Storm doesn't necessarily have a great target besides obviously the supports. And if we look at what Zai went, he went Bracer, Magic Wand, Raindrops, Urn. We keep going. Spirit Vessel, right, to counter out the Timber Saw. Great itemization. Blink Dagger to deal with obviously the mobility of the Storm and the Timber. Great for locking them down. Even counters that IO Gyro because it's easy to hit both of them, right? Then he went Yules to make it harder for him to get burst hit. And you really top it off with a Lotus Orb that he finished off the game with. And he itemizes so perfectly. And if there's one way to counter Storm that people don't realize, it's to pick heroes that are hard to kill. Reason being is he will run out of mana and often expose himself over committing for a kill, giving you an opportunity to lock him down. And sure, Team Secret, they have ways to catch him, right? They do. But when it's also hard to kill the heroes and you have catch, you make an almost impossible game for Storm Spirit, which is what I see here. Ori went 3-9, which is just an abysmal score for Storm Spirit. The only hero that did really okay on Vici in terms of score, I'm not going to say an impact, but in terms of score, was the Timber Saw, which was kind of their win condition here against Team Secret, right? Team Secret doesn't have an innate counter to the Timber. They have fine magical damage through the Lich, I guess through the Pango roll as well, and Time Dilation is good against Timber, but you can itemize against all these things, right? Hooded Defiance, things like Yules, and Lotus Orb deals with that. But the thing is, Zai went for the perfect itemization with the Spirit Vessel. They have great teamfight, which enables them to out-teamfight Vici Gaming. And if there's anything that Vici Gaming has been doing particularly well at this tournament, it's their ability to out-teamfight their opponent. Their synergy is on another level, except the fact that Team Secret is also on that level. They also have that same cheat code, which allows them to take down these beasts. And now, let's get into the final draft. So this was a draft EG against Alliance, and in particular here, the reason why I like this draft is they were losing. They were losing. Alliance felt like they were running over EG. I believe they had a 3k lead at some point, and that goes to show that Drow is kind of broken. And the reason why I wanted to throw in one more Drow draft here is not only do I recommend it if you're playing with a team, I think they're very easy to draft around, as you can pick a hero like TA, SF, OD, Viper, and they're all very viable, but I really love the other heroes EG drafts with the Drow, and now let's explain it, because there's things I don't think people will realize here. So let's start with the two cores of EG. They have a TA and they have a Timber Saw. What are both of these heroes very good at? Being self-reliant. They both are very self-reliant. TA's natural ability to stay alive with Refraction and have traps and even meld to stay alive allows her to play alone. She can farm alone. Same thing with Timber Saw. Hard to catch, hard to burst, and therefore he can play alone. What does that mean? You can do anything you want with the other heroes, right? And therefore it sets up for a tri-lane scenario. So basically they pick Drow in the intention to at least lead with a tri-lane, which is what they do, right? They started off by getting First Blood onto the Darkseer this match, and reason being, they have the heroes to do that. They lane the Timber solo bottom, which is great for Timber because when he goes into the safe lane, he'll be able to get level 3 without being contested too hard. He can die, but it's more difficult when he's in the safe lane and the off lane. And then they set up that perfect tri-lane. They have a really good 1v1 matchup mid, right? TA against the Puck. You can't ask for a better matchup there. And overall, it just really came together. Even though they were falling behind, they have this great team fight in the Treant. They have plenty of catch for heroes like the Puck and the Lifestealer in the Treant, but more specifically in the Shaman. And then in particular, I think Drow is a generally good matchup against the Lifestealer, as you're going to pump out so much physical damage that he barely can deal with it. Even though Lifestealers are itemizing against physical damage in the Halberd, in the AC, even you can consider the Mjolnir a physical damage DPS counter as well. It's just enough to deal with it, and they came online and shredded them in these team fights, right? And yeah, I just think, even though Alliance has a lot of the meta heroes I think are very strong here, they have the Lifestealer, they have the Lich, And I really even like the Darkseer plus the Tiny here. I think it makes a lot of sense. You can set up a Vac combo with a lot of synergy here. The Coil, the Silence, the Lich Ulti. It just isn't enough just because of the tri-lane. Drow's going to get off to a good enough start. And if there's anything you know about Drow drafts, no matter how far behind they are, if you mess up, you just insta-die. That's the reality of Drow drafts, and it has been the case for a while now, and it's why the hero is first pick, first ban. But thank you guys for watching my favorite drafts of this tournament. If there's any games or drafts you guys thought were the best of the tournament, let me know in the comments section down below, and like the video. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Are you tired of being hard stuck at your rank? Over at gameleap.com, we have a library of hundreds of guides authored by pro players and coaches covering literally every aspect of Dota. Whether you're looking to master a new hero or role, or just polish up your existing skills, GameLeap is the proven place for competitive gamers to hone their craft and unlock their secret potential. Hit the link on screen right now, to take advantage of our special offer for a 25% discount, guys, 25%, and start your journey today.